Hello, welcome to Learning Channel. And today we'll be talking about what women want. So we're discussing about women today. So this is a video by Rich Cooper on blog, and it's titled like "What No One Tells Men About Supporting a Woman's Career." So and I asked myself, has anybody unpacked that load of actually what women want? So if you are new here, do it to show your boy some love. Do it to subscribe. Let's get into the video.
Gentlemen, women hate taking care of the vast majority of the finances, and it is often a precursor to the end of the relationship or the marriage. Let me explain. I have a quick video here that I want to play for you that's about a minute long and got almost 9 million views. It went absolutely viral when I shared it on social media. Just a minute long. Let me play it for you first. We'll add some context, and I got some really interesting stories.
How old are you?
27.
28. And how long have you been married?
About 2.5 years?
Well, we've been together for about 5 years. How do you handle the bills in your household? So currently I handle all the bills, but she's on her way to be a doctor. So eventually she'll either take
Oh.
over all of them or like most of them. But she also had a job. So we were splitting it the same proportion we were making.
No. Like, let's run this back. You can see.
She'll either take over all of them or like most of them. But she also had a job. So we were
Oh, she says that she's currently in school and he's taking care of most of the thing. And he's expecting when the lady is done with her school and becomes a doctor, she will take over with some things. And you kind of see the way the lady's facial expression changed. Quite interesting. Maybe I'm not the one getting it.
splitting it the same proportion we were making in income. So if I was making 60-40 or vice versa, that's what we were contributing to our bills as well.
What makes you think, as a man, that she would be comfortable as a doctor paying for everything as a woman?
She is such a motivated person, and that's the way I view it. She has a vision for her own life, and I'm supporting that right now. I view it as very empowering to her and to us as a couple that she wants to pursue this career path, and I'll do anything I can to protect that and encourage that and whatnot, because it'll pay off in the long term.
So you would be fine covering all the bills long term?
So are you like mainly supporting your partner because it's going to pay off in a long time, or you want her to acquire the knowledge and become a better person for you both? Or it's just like you are doing it for the fact that okay, in future she will get to take care of the thing you are taking care of now and get to support you. It's not more like supporting, it's more like she taking the load off you. Are women
Honestly, yeah. Like right now, he's investing in my future, so I'm hoping that I can invest in our future in the future.
Isn't that
No.
interesting? So she said, he's investing in my future, and I hope that I'll be able to invest in our future.
Wait.
Future. So-
He's investing in my future, so I'm hoping that I can invest in our future in the future.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? So she
Yes,
said,
yes,
he's
yes.
investing in my future, and I hope that I'll be able to invest in our future in the future. She didn't say in his future. It's not like there was a plan for her to do the same thing back. There's this notion of Bruffault's law. He was a French scientist, I believe, and he postulated that in the animal kingdom, the female, not the male, determines the length of the relationship. And where the female can derive no future benefit from the male, then that relationship will cease to exist. So the first thing that you got to understand, guys, and I know this is a tough pill to swallow to life.
Okay, like before we get in deeply, like, is it that okay if on the other side, if the guy is not able to provide, is it mainly your relationship to you two guys have is mainly he's able to provide for you to go to school and come back, and the guy himself is expecting for you to take care of things, in which we see how the lady termed it. The guy was saying, I'm investing in her for me to get it in return that she's going to take care of things in future. Why the lady is being like, I'm going to invest in our future. In our future still mean I'm still going to be part of it. But the guy is mainly about her, but she's about them. Interesting one, Shai. Let's get into
I
it.
really hate this. And many of the comments on that post were, it looks like a great relationship. I'm sure things will work out. Why are you so insecure, Rich? Blah, blah, blah. The typical point and sputter. But the truth of the matter is, I've seen this movie many times before, and I've seen how it ends. And for the vast majority of cases, not in all cases, but in the vast majority of cases, what ends up happening is when she finds herself in a position in the relationship or in the marriage where she is better off, making more money, more successful, more competent, viewed by society as of higher value, that's usually when she wants to untie the knot or to end the relationship. It's not always a bad thing for him, which I'll explain at the end. In fact, often it's a silver lining for him, and he actually does very, very well. But that's the notion of Bruffault's law. And this is actually very, very consistent throughout the entire animal kingdom.
So this much of like when they say, I understand what Cooper is trying to say. When the lady is kind of okay, feel like she's giving more financially, she's giving more resources to the relationship that she also, not that it happens most of the time, but in special cases, like she feel like she's giving all to the relationship, it can get boring at times because women are not wired that way. They are not wired to provide for you. They are not wired to protect you. Like it's the other way around. It's just like when a man gives more love, but we tend to contrast this on that. When a man gives more love, shows more emotion, like you see, it's not steady. You get to take place of the girl, the place of your partner. What your partner is supposed to be doing, you are doing it. When you turn it the other way around, if she's taking care of you financially, take care of things financially, it can get boring at some point. I agree with Kopa, it can get boring at some point.
Now, she was looking at him with a very high degree of admiration, if I can put it that way, when he was speaking. You know, she had this look of almost genuine burning desire on her face when he was talking about this plan to put her through medical school. You know, she'd become a doctor, blah, blah, blah. But if you didn't catch it, I mean, you can slide the bar back and watch it again, but there was a slight change in her body.
Yeah, I think now I think I'm okay because this is what I was talking about. Because the way she was taking about the whole thing, the way she was looking at the guy, it's like, are you sure it's going to be like that? Are you sure it's going that kind of look? Are you sure it's going to work? Are you sure it's going to be like that? Or so you expect me to do this, or this is what you're expecting from me, training me through school?
Language and her facial expression when he was talking about her taking over the finances when she'd have her medical degree and become a doctor. There's this inherent disgust within women when they find themselves in a position of looking after guys that they become very uncomfortable. Again, women are hypercriminals. They have to adore a man. They have to look up towards a man. It's impossible for her to look up to you if she finds herself in a position where she's better than you. One of the great precursors, and I've talked to many divorce lawyers about this, and you'll see them in podcast interviews as well, is that one of the early signs of a knot being untied is if she finds herself in a position where she's been out-promoted over him, like she's had successive promotions, makes a lot more money.
Yeah. Just like I said before, they are not wired to be that way. Like these things are we are biologically wired, the guys to provide and to protect them, to the ladies to care and to nurture. That's how it's supposed to be. But when you take over the other side or the guy take over your place, you see some relationship having some imbalances and some problem at some point. Remember, it's not most of them before you guys come from.
That's often when she starts to look around and be like, you know, my regular husband that was there for me, that put me through school or whatever, doesn't look as appealing as Kevin, the VP from sales, or Steve, the vice president of accounting, sort of thing. You see what I'm getting at here? Let me share an interesting story with you. Years ago, back in my 20s, I used to deal with this mechanic who was nearby, and I'm a car tuner guy. I like messing with cars and sort of souping them up and stuff like that. So I was always at his shop every couple months just doing something, tweaking something. And, you know, he took a liking to me, and we kind of became friendly. And he often would just drive me back after I would drop off the car and says, you know, let me give you a ride back. And during the ride, you know, he would tell me about his life. And, you know, he was a very successful mechanic, if I can put it that way. But he was a mechanic. He owned the shop, you know, Italian guy, real salt of the earth, solid dude. Wife wanted family, 4 kids, gave it all to her. She wanted to go to law school and become a lawyer. She had this ambition to become a lawyer. And I remember him telling me this story about, you know, buying a condo downtown Toronto, and he would, you know, she would stay there rather than stay out where they lived out in the outskirts of the city because it saved travel and all these, you know, like all this sorts of stuff. And he would take care of the kids and do all of their extracurriculars and the driving around while she was off going to law school. And he figured, you know, this sort of thing would pay off in the long run, and she'd become a lawyer, and she would then contribute to the family, and, you know, things would look great from there on in. Now, here's where it got interesting. I had moved at some point, and I hadn't seen him for a few years. I had to go back to the shop for something because his shop specialized in something with a particular car brand that I had at the time. And I went in there and I said, hey, where's Paul? And his shop foreman, who I knew as well, said, well, oh, you didn't hear? He died. And I was like,
oh.
He was in good, I mean, he was in his early 50s. He wasn't like obese or anything like that. He was in pretty good shape, always seemed chipper, maybe a little bit stressed, you know, from work, from all the burden of everything that he was doing. But he always, you know, seemed to be pretty good shape. And I said, well, what happened? He goes, you know, he used to have this little Frenchie dog with him, and he'd often be there early in the morning. And they said, you know, one day they came in and they found him dead on the floor with the dog sitting beside him. It was the absolute saddest thing. And I said, what happened? He goes, he had a heart attack. And I said to him, I go, what do you mean he had a heart attack? The guy was, you know, they told me the story about, you know, his wife and going to law school. And apparently she met somebody at law school and she had an affair and cheated on him and then divorced him. And after she got her law degree and all that sort of thing. And they said he basically died of a broken heart. Like they said his health went absolutely south after that. And one morning they came in.
These points he can get to some certain things. Just like the case of this guy, I don't wish him for the sad story we just heard about the young man that Cooper told the story now. It can get to that point where, okay, let's just say the two couples that they play their video from the beginning, and you see when the guy finished, maybe putting up the work and doing everything and putting the girl through school, and at the end, he was expecting the girl to come settle the bill at some point, to come take care of things at some point. You see the look, when that look comes into action, there might certainly be a problem, because imagine the guy working his ass off and making sure that the partner get through school, and when she comes out, she'll be like, maybe she can't do it again, or she finds someone better. How do you think that this man will cope? Like, maybe taking all the years he sacrificed, but surely I wish for their relationship to end well for them to get married and make a wonderful family and make a generation out of them. But the story we just heard now is kind of quite pathetic. 'Cause at some point, they might feel like, okay, you are not in the same grade with them again, you are not the same level with them again. They have to move on, but not remembering that you are the one that put them through school.
They found him dead. And I'm not saying that this happens in all scenarios, okay? But on a balance of probabilities, in most
Yeah,
cases,
that's another thing. Like what we are saying is not in all scenario. There are special cases. There are where it happens. That's where it's being talked about, and that's why we have our stories. And that if it doesn't happen, we wouldn't have been talking about it. So that's the truth. It's not in all cases.
what usually ends up happening is that investment that guys make, husbands make into their wives, the whole richer and poorer and sickness and health till death do us part, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. And that's true from the man's perspective. Like, men will stay in relationships much longer than women will. Men tend to do it out of duty. But what ended up happening in this situation is, of course, that she left him. And I've seen this again, story dozens upon dozens upon dozens of times. Doesn't always happen. Now, back to the silver lining. The interesting thing about the silver lining is if a woman leaves you who's making more money than you in a marriage, then what ends up happening in family law, in most cases, is the transfer of wealth goes from the parent that earns more money to the one that earns less money. So in a situation like that, if you can stick it out, if you can make it past the heartbreak or even the betrayal of putting her through law school or putting her through medical school to get her medical degree, and if she wants to leave, sure, I'm sure you're going to be heartbroken.
But the thing is never easy to get to that point where you are putting all the sacrifice and you are putting all the time and you are putting all your resources, and it just happened. Like, for a man to carry on at that point, for anybody, not even a man, for anybody to carry on at that point, it takes a bit of grace, and it has a slim chance of it happening. So.
But at the end of the day, you'll actually be better off because she'll end up having to pay you back.
So you're better off, but will you get to that extent? Can you get to that point?
It can work out. I know a lot of guys really, really struggle with it, and I've seen guys' health, deteriorate in situations. I've seen in an extreme situation, like I talked about with my friend Paul, he ended up basically dying, in the shop floor. But it's something that a lot of people don't contemplate, and they don't understand the drive and the dynamic between relationships and what drives women to stick around and to want to be around it. Like I said earlier, women are hypergamous. They have to adore you. They have to be able to look up to you. When a woman finds herself in a position where she can no longer adore you and look up to you, that's the clock that ticks down to the end of the relationship. That contempt that she feels, even though you did everything right for years. She got the law degree, she got, her designation, makes a great living, has the panache, like the status out there that she was lacking.
The status, the gear power,
or something like that, or she was a waitress or whatever, and you helped her move past all that. Women don't care about those struggles, okay? And like I said, when women deem that they can no longer receive future benefit from you, then the woman will often find herself in a position where she's reevaluating that relationship and will unlikely want to stay in that relationship. Some, as a function of understanding family law, will actually just stay because they know that they've got the farm to lose and they'd have to give up a good chunk of their wealth or even support payments. But that's how things go. Anyway, you guys let me know what your personal experience has been in the comments below. If you guys want to know everything that I wish I knew when I was a young man that I know today, check out the School of Unplugging. There's over 40 hours now of private classroom material that helps deal with.
Yeah, these are selling another course in which I just saw the guy's video. I don't know. I'm not in support of selling course though. So, but back in what we are saying, like, it doesn't happen in all cases. But I just hope relationship gets better no matter what. Like, stay put, stay with your partner no matter what, in what weather. And if you are sworn that you are going to be till dead, to you guys apart, let it be like that. So, thank you for staying to this extent. Do well to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to turn on the notification button. And see you in my next video. Thank you.